Hi everyone, how's it going? Thank you so much for coming to my channel. My name's Madison. If you've never been here before, I like to do mukbangs and cooking videos. Today is a cooking video. So I'm really excited because I haven't made this in a little while, but it's gonna be a pesto, like grilled. I don't have a grill, but I do have a cast iron, so I'm gonna use that. And so it's gonna be a pesto grilled chicken sandwich with like a pesto mayo, just to like really drive that flavor forward. And I'm also really excited about the bread because it's going to be with some brioche bread, and it's just, all of that is just really good. And so I'm really excited to show you guys because I've been meaning to for a while. So if you're interested in that, please stick around and let me know your thoughts below. That's like you can just like comment while you're watching it if you'd like to. That's really cool. And yeah, so here we go. Okay, so the ingredients that you're gonna need are chicken breast, or you can do like a boneless, skinless thigh if you'd like. And then also some pesto. I just have this one. It's from the Mazzetta brand. It's just the basil pesto. It used to look like this, and now it looks like this. And then you'll just need some sort of tomato if you like tomatoes. So I just found these earlier today on sale. It was $4.49 for all of those. And then some kind of bread. This is just a brioche loaf from Whole Foods. They have a few different kinds of brioche bread, so it just depends on what they have at the moment. You also need an onion and lettuce. And then the lettuce, I'm just using a green leaf lettuce today. So there's that. And that's just like the main ingredients. And then for like smaller ingredients, you need salt, sugar. I'm using some rice vinegar as well. I'm actually gonna make some broccoli to go with it. And then I'm also gonna make some of these patutoots because these are delicious and they'll be like a nice little side with it. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm super excited. Okay guys, so here I just have a Ziploc bag. Or a plastic bag. This isn't a Ziploc brand. And I just folded it in on itself because it's easier with the chicken, and that way the outside doesn't get dirty. I was just showing you the knife I'm using, and I'm telling you to use the flat side of the mallet because you don't want to puncture the chicken. You just need to flatten it out. I just have a wet paper towel under a glass cutting board, and I am just cutting open the package of chicken breasts so that we can go ahead and get those situated. These chicken breasts are just from H-E-B, and I don't have to cut that much off of them, just a little bit of the fat, because I don't want that in the sandwich. Chicken breasts always have that little weird spot in them where the tender and the breast meet. So you can cut that out if you want to. And then I'm just going to pound this out a couple times. You can see there I accidentally hit it a little bit too hard in that one spot, but that's okay. You don't want to hit it too hard. It looks like I'm hitting it really hard, but I'm really not. You want to be really careful doing this. Don't hit in the same spot too many times. And then I contemplated cutting it in half, and I went against myself because I want to cut it in half later. It's going to be easier to cook them if they're not cut in half. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing with the rest of the chicken breasts here. As you can see, I'm kind of moving it around like where I'm hitting. And I'm mostly hitting only at the very, very thick part, not really toward the end. And as you can see, I'm setting 2 to the side, 2 in the bag. And the reason for that is just because I don't want all of them in there. So I froze the other 2. Here I'm just adding rice vinegar. I think I added like a teaspoon. There really wasn't that much in there. You can add a little bit more if you want. And then like a teaspoon of salt. And the reason for that is because the pesto actually has salt in it, so you don't need too much like actual salt.
And here I'm just bringing my sugar over. I have it in a plastic bag because I don't have a container for this right now. I need to move it because Brandon just bought me a new container for my sugar. It's like an owl. It's so cute. But I have it in a plastic bag because it's leaking and I don't want sugar everywhere. And now I'm just grabbing the pesto. The one that I had previously was like not good anymore, so I'm just using the new one. And I'm just gonna put in like probably like 2 tablespoons of the pesto, I would say. And I'm just showing you guys what it looks like. It's honestly really beautiful. You could use homemade pesto if you'd like. This pesto is really good. Really, any pesto would work for this. This is just the one that I always grab. Yeah, I would say that's like 2 tablespoons. And then I just put in like probably a teaspoon of olive oil just to help it like move around. There's already olive oil in the pesto, but just to help it get a little bit more like wet in there so it'll move. And I'm just going to massage it like into the chicken. And you just pretty much want to move it around as much as possible in here. And that way it'll coat the entire chicken. And then I ended up like moving it around to where they're pretty much flat. And that's how I put it in the refrigerator. So I got it as much as I could everywhere. It actually coated them really well. It's easy to use this bag, especially when you only have 2 breasts in here. And so I just put it in there just like that. And I just wanted to take the time in this video to show you how I label stuff for the freezer because I put the other 2 breasts in the freezer. And if you're kind of wondering like why I sound like this, I'm just congested. It's not allergies, like I don't know what it is, but it's not allergies and it's not the vid. And then I was just showing you guys that I like to use the king size Sharpie, and I usually just write something like this, and that way it's super helpful. So this was filmed on the 27th, chicken breast. I put 2 chicken breasts in there. And again, I'm folding it over because I really don't want chicken in the zipper. That makes it really annoying. So if you haven't tried that yet, please do it because just anything in the zipper is super annoying. I put chili in freezer bags, like anything, like rice, whatever. Even if it's not a freezer bag, it helps if you fold it back like that. And I definitely could have used some help right here, but that's okay. I definitely figured it out. So I just put those in there, and I put them flat, and that way they will be super easy to defrost. And I just zip it like halfway, and that way whenever I'm going to push the air out, the chicken doesn't move into the zipper. So halfway, and then all the way down. And then it's ready for the freezer. So let's go ahead and make the pesto mayo. So for this, I actually started to use my back camera, and I'm like, wow, this quality is crazy. So I'm just using about 2 tablespoons here as well of the pesto. And then for the mayonnaise, I think I used... Oh, I'm going ahead and showing you guys how I actually do this. This was like real life for me right here. So I always use it, label it immediately. So I also put the label on this. You can't see it because of the glare. And then I have the mayo, which you can see because I didn't do it immediately. I didn't label this before. So yeah, that's about a tablespoon of mayo to 2 tablespoons of the pesto. Really want it to be pesto forward, and that's why you don't really need the mayonnaise as much because the chicken breasts are just so juicy. It's kind of unnecessary. So yeah, and then I actually added a little bit more pesto, which is really funny because I really didn't put that much mayo. But as you can see, it's really necessary here. Okay, so let's go ahead and slice the onion. So I'm just using a chef's knife here. I have this cutting board and a bowl of water. It's just like water out of the tap. And the water is actually really helpful to take care of the bite of the onion. The bite of the onion is also like easily taken care of if you just put it in the refrigerator. Like if you want to slice it in half and put it in the refrigerator, it'll take some of the sting out of the onion. It still has a great onion flavor. It'll just take some of that like really harsh sting out. So here I am just struggling to peel this. This onion is a little bit older, and whenever they get older, they're a little bit more difficult to peel. So onions are pretty much good until you see like mold on them, or if they're like super soft, they last for like ever. Like same with potatoes. Potatoes are super similar as well. So I am just peeling that and throwing away the trash so that it's out of the way. I find that to really help when I'm slicing things. And then I'm just slicing this as thin as possible for texture. And I'm fully aware that I do not cut onions perfectly, like just where my fingers are placed. I try to do the curl method. It just doesn't work very well for me. So I just try to keep myself protected as much as possible and really think about what I'm doing. So here, I'm just putting them in the water now, and that way they can just hang out. And I just put some plastic wrap over this and left it on the counter, and that way they can just chill on the counter. There's no reason to put them in the fridge because it's really quick from here.
Okay, so I'm trying to film with my back camera. I don't have any way of seeing what's going on, but I checked it and it looks okay. So this is the cast iron that Brandon just got me for my birthday the other day, so I'm really excited about it. It came with like one of those really awesome handles too. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some bacon really quick. I'm not gonna put bacon on my sandwich, but you're more than welcome to if you'd like. The reason that I want it is because I want to fry the bread in it, as well as fry the chicken in it, since it will exist. So that's what's happening. I haven't made bacon in a cast iron before, but it shouldn't be that different than a regular pan. And what I like to do is cook it like from the pan being cold. That might be like a sin in a cast iron, I really don't know. But I'm just gonna try it, see what happens. It's completely seasoned, so it should be fine either way. So I'm just putting this in here pretty close together. You can put bacon pretty close together because it's gonna shrink as it cooks. So it doesn't matter like how close it is. And the reason I like to do a cold pan first is because I used to make a lot of bacon when I worked at Wally's. And that's kind of like, I figured out that it doesn't curl as much if you start with a cold pan. Because I started like practicing more at home. Because there we had the grill that like closes, like a little clamshell grill, which makes it so much easier. Wow. So I'm just fitting this bacon in as well as I can. I mean, it's bacon, so if bacon sticks to the pan. Okay, there we go. And the last one can go right here.
Y'all, this bread, so good. So this is a brioche loaf from Whole Foods, and the wrapping here is really, really, really loud, so I'm glad I'm doing a voiceover for this. And honestly, I'm opening it for you guys just so you can get the whole experience, because a lot of people don't have this bread, and I understand that. So I totally get it. I just really want you to see it. It's beautiful. Like, I've honestly seen it before, and I'm still like mesmerized. It comes in this little little cupcake wrapper situation. Like, it's obviously not a cupcake wrapper, but paper wrapper, you know? And I really just wanted to show it to you guys. I'm so silly. So I'm just gonna unwrap it. I actually unwrapped it a little bit too harshly because some of the outside came off, and that's not necessary. It doesn't have to come off. I just unwrapped it a little harsh. And I just want to slice it up for you guys on the camera. Look at that. Look at that little braid. So pretty. If you don't have a knife like this, it's okay. I'm just using my serrated knife. As you can see, I accidentally angled it a little bit too much, but that's okay. I fixed it. And some of these are smaller, some of these are bigger, but it's anywhere between a 1/2 inch and 1 inch for the bread, for the bread slice. And I'm just showing you guys how soft and supple it is on the inside. So soft, a little sweet. It's just so delicious. This is really good with Nutella as well. And I'm just showing you guys again how pillowy that is. I think I took a bite here. Yeah, I did. I couldn't help myself. I had to take a bite. It's so fluffy, so layered. Honestly, this clip is just me needing a snack, and this bacon with this bread is so good. But I had to have a snack. I didn't have anything to eat yet, and I think it was like 3.
Okay, so I used the back camera as much as I possibly could already, but it's making me uncomfortable to not see myself. So I have a pan here with some foil. I know foil is not like cute or whatever, but I want to use foil. And then I have my tomatoes. My potatoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray the cookie sheet really quick. And I just have that set to 400. So these little purple babies are very good for you, and I love them. I think you're supposed to wash these, but I really don't care because like nothing is really on here, so I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm just gonna cut them. Yeah, we'll cut them like that. They're so cool on the inside. So I just went ahead and cut them in half like that. And then I'm just gonna cut them in half again. It doesn't really matter what shape they are. It just matters that they're pretty much all like the same size. So I'm cutting them like this. And I'm just putting them like face down. Let's do one of the white ones. Little red potato. Whoops, I cut this one a little weird, but that's okay. I love the skin on these. So fun. And you can use like whatever potato you want and do whatever kind of method, of course. This is really just the ones that I was doing today. Okay, so I have them all here. And I'm gonna do some onion powder, some salt, some pepper, and some garlic. Okay. Where is my Old Bay? There it is. And then just a little bit of Old Bay. Because Old Bay on potatoes is delicious. You promise. Okay. And I'm just gonna put a little olive oil in here. It's kind of a lot on accident. But it's a lot of potatoes, so it'll be fine. Okay, perfect. So I just have them like spread apart as much as possible, and that way they can cook pretty evenly. And I'm just gonna set a timer for 15 minutes and see where that gets me. And then the tomatoes that I'm using are called Wild Wonders by Sunset. What's crazy is that there was like a little sign next to them that said, hey, we're $4.49. I was like, dope, let me get those, because a regular thing of tomatoes that I usually get is $4.49. And it's smaller, it's like half the size. And this one was on sale, so I was like, cool. I got to the register, I didn't say it was on sale, so I was like, what the heck? Asked the guy, I was like, hey, like, is there something I should put in here? He was like, oh, I'll go check. So we went and checked. He actually said that they forgot to take the sign down, but he was gonna give it to me anyways, because they rang up at like $6.49 or something. So, yay. Look at these little cuties. These tomatoes are amazing. I love them. I do not remember what these are called at all. But I am just going to slice these up so that we can have them on the sandwiches. Need like the sharpest knife available for a tomato. And again, wash your tomatoes if you want. I'm just gonna take one more. Oh, these are so great. Okay. And I would say something that is pretty important for tomatoes is to make sure that you salt and pepper them themselves. And that'll just help them taste amazing. And then what I like to do with this is actually put this in the fridge so that they're like kind of cold. They taste really good on the sandwich that way. But you could just do like however you like it on your sandwich, of course. Okay, so the 15-minute timer went off and the little screaming potatoes came out. They're not done yet, so I'm gonna put them back in for 5 more minutes. I just flipped them over to the skin side down. And then I don't feel like pan steaming this broccoli, so I'm gonna actually use the steamer that I have. I never bring it out because it's always in my garage. I took out some of it because I want to eat some of it raw, and I'm just gonna stick it in here. And I'll just set a timer for that. Hey Alexa, set a timer for 7 minutes for broccoli.
Broccoli timer, 7 minutes, starting now. By the way, it looks like the weather in your area has been changing lately. I can keep you up to date if you ask Alexa, what's the forecast?
Alexa, nobody asked. That's the thing. Why does she always say stuff? Like, what? Okay, anyways. And then I've just been resting the chicken pretty much the whole time the potatoes were in there. I've just been resting it out of the refrigerator. Let me see here. So, I still have the pan here with the bacon fat in it. I'm gonna go ahead and take this, like just a random cutting board. And I'm gonna lay my bread out. Let me see here. And I'm just gonna toast one side of it with the bacon fat, so I'm just gonna dip it in here really quick into the bacon fat. And I'm just gonna do that for all of them. And as I'm pulling it out, I'm just setting it with the bacon fat top, like side up. Okay. So there's that. So that'll be good. And then I just went ahead and put this between 6 and 8 so that it will heat up. There should be enough fat in this pan for the chicken. So I'm getting my little like 10-inch, 12-inch skillet, whatever this is. And I'm gonna put this on medium high as well. Let's see where this is. Okay, it's not ready yet. And that way I can toast my bread. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay my chicken in this pan because it is now heated. And I am going to be using a thermometer for this. If you don't want to use a thermometer, that's okay. You can just try to make sure that it's like cooked. It's chicken breast, so it doesn't take that long. It takes like 5 minutes per side. So I'm gonna set a timer for that. The potatoes are done. I'm gonna leave them in there so that they can stay warm. I'm gonna go ahead and start toasting my bread. So I'm putting the bacon fat side down first. And then I just like to put a little bit of extra salt just on the top here to make sure that it is well seasoned. So bread is here toasting. I'm just gonna flip it over a little. Yeah, that looks good. This broccoli is pretty much done, so I'm actually just going to turn the timer off.
The timer is done.
Hey Alexa, be quiet. I'm like really good. Alexa, be quiet. Girl, I heard you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this bread. Ooh, she is hot. And I'm gonna flip over the chicken. The bread got like a gray crust on it from the bacon fat. So this is what it's like without, and then this is what it's like with. So nice. Now the bread pan is heated up, I'm just putting it on a medium low, and that way it doesn't burn the bread. And then I'm just gonna make a little saucy sauce for the broccoli. This lemon is like super juicy. Crazy. Put like half a teaspoon of olive oil, half of this lemon. I would put the whole lemon, but Brandon doesn't really like lemon like that. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit of butter. Some pepper. Salt. And those can hang out in there a little bit longer. And then I'll put them in there. And then this is a good time to just get all the toppings. But don't forget about your bread. This bread, if you're wondering, kind of tastes like King's Hawaiian, kind of. I'm just getting my area cleaned up. Sometimes I don't edit out stuff like this because it's kind of important for you to know that nothing is perfect. Like, there's some trial and error here. So I still have those onions hanging out to the side here. I'm gonna go ahead and drain them. And that really does take some of the harsh flavor out of the onion. It's really nice. Turning the bread pan off. Yeah, these are almost done. They're looking super pretty. I know that looked pretty dark, but it's good. Here's this one if you can see it. Yeah. It's hot. Cool. Awesome. These are pretty much done, so I'm going to turn the heat off. And I'm just going to get my glass cutting board again. I like using the glass cutting board for anything raw and anything hot. And that way I don't accidentally melt a cutting board or something. So I'm going to take this one off. And here's the chicken. It's super pretty. Whenever you pound it out, it looks so nice this way. And what's nice about this is actually going to be 4 sandwiches or 2 sandwiches and some salad. This pan is extremely hot, so I'm just going to set it over to the side. And that way I don't have anything super hot over here. So let's go ahead and get these guys out. I really like this steamer. It's only, like, the only reason I don't really use it is because just using a steamer in general is just a lot. Like, it's a lot. Okay, let's get that in here. have the broccoli. I'm just gonna kind of toss it together and everything. Sorry about the metal on the glass. I promise it's not breaking. And thankfully this is still very green. It's just a little extra soft, but that's okay. A little extra salt. And this has salt in it too, but I'm just gonna put a little bit. I don't want it to be too salty. And that's just that seasoning you guys have seen me use in the past. So these look good. And I have the tomatoes, the onions, the chicken, which I'm gonna let rest for just a little bit. That sauce that I made with the mayo and the pesto earlier. I just went ahead and closed up the spoon with it because why wash an extra spoon if you don't have to? Great. So I'm just gonna clean up a little bit, let the chicken rest. I'm gonna let the chicken rest for like 5-10 minutes, and that way it can hang out. Potatoes are done. I'm gonna pull those out too. And they can just hang out on this baking sheet. Okay. And I'm just gonna close them up inside of the foil. Like I'm just gonna put it halfway, and that way they stay warm. And I'll show you guys. I just did that. That way they stay pretty warm. Okay, so our hard work has paid off. Let's cut in to the chicken. Okay, you're just gonna see SpongeBob's face during this. This is pretty thin, so I'm just gonna use this kind of knife, it's fine. And what I like to do here is just see what would make a good sandwich. So I got my bread here, you can kind of tell, okay. So I'll cut off this part here, which is fine. Nice and beautiful on the inside. You can't really see it because of the, there we go. You can kind of see there. There's so much juice right here. And I did let it rest about 5 minutes, so. And then for this one, this piece of chicken is kind of weird looking, but that's fine. I'll just go ahead and cut it the same way, just right here. And as you can see, this one is the same. So we'll put those extra pieces of chicken over here. Just gonna flip this over and see what's better. Okay, cool. So let's assemble a plate. I cut the bread a little bit different, so I'm gonna just do one bigger one and one smaller one for each of us. And I'm gonna put the softer side on the outside so it'll be easier to bite. And it just so happened that the softer side is the non-bacon side, so it's cool. And then let's go ahead and get some of this delicious mayo on here. Mayo is like really good on chicken sandwiches, and then the pesto just really drives that flavor through the entire sandwich, which is really nice. And you don't have to use mayo if you don't want to. You could just use more pesto. You could do pesto mixed with a little bit more olive oil. You could do nothing, like just let the tomatoes do their thing. Whatever is good for you. Sandwiches are so great because they're so easily customizable. And then let's do a little bit of tomato on here. Like that. And then we'll do some lettuce. This lettuce is really easy. You can just flip it over like that and kind of shape it to what you need. Let's do it this way. And a few onions. And since they are not as raw tasting, they will be amazing on here, and you can put a little bit more than you usually would. Perfect. And then let me see which one is bigger. I'll give that one to Brandon. I like the shape of this one, so I'm gonna do this one. Okay. That is a sandwich. Wow. Okay, we have the broccoli. We have these little cute potato guys. They are crispy on the outside and soft in the inside, which is amazing. These are so good. And that seasoning just really helps them out. And then we have our sandwich. So let's get into the sandwich. Look at that. Delicious. The bread isn't healthy, but it is the chicken. So I was actually taking bites of this too. So refreshing, but it's still comforting because of the potatoes. The bread is so nice. I definitely recommend making this. Brandon is playing as a game, or I would get him to taste test it in front of you. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. I have bread in my tooth right here, but I can't get it out right now. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you are. Please let me know if you make this. It really is so easy, so delicious. Once you make it like 1 or 2 times, it'll be in your head. I will post the link for the inspiration down below. Thanks so much again, guys. Bye.